Call Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rukakudash, Wada Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Rukakudash, Yahawashai. Call Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, the water, Yahawah, for your mercy by and by. Shalaki, Yahawah, for my praises all the time. Call Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, Rapa, Abba, for your healing all the time. Call Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, Shalom, Yahawah, for the Akim as I cry. Shalom, Yahawah, for the Aqua by and by. Call Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi. Shalom, brother Obadiah Yahweh Canaan, here today, this evening, whoa, for another blessing in some high level, very nutrient food and fruit for the elect to bring forward the message for today, or this evening rather, Shalak. And we'll get into a little commentary here. It's going to be a little bit different in terms of this particular message that YAHAWASHI has brought forward for me this time around. It's a very much of a lesson that is what I would call an eye-opening spiritual inclination of what should be obvious, but clearly not as obvious as we would think. And it's imperative that this information be brought forward and then accentuated throughout the elect of Israel and the Akim. Pray and praise and worship the Most High, that they jump on it and get into doing this, because this is what's important to YAHAWASHI. And want to say salutations to all of the Akim that are still out striving for that mark of the YAHWAH, to be predestined already and marked for salvation and marked for greatness, as only our Father can do, and which He has done. And we're going to touch on that as well. So we definitely want to say salutations and shalom to all of the hopeful elect, and also we want to give our utmost respect, admiration to the apostles who have been diligently bringing out the truth in an accurate format for decades in and decades out. And that's very important. Accuracy of the Most High's truth is an imperative that is very challenging for the most part in this particular prophetic timeline right now. And the reason why that is because our Father Yahawah, BAHASHAM, He allowed the promiscuity of the truth in His word to be set forth in a fashion that allowed a certain amount of books to come out. And you can go to Second Ezra and the Apocrypha and look this up as a study guide for you. Ezra being the first scribe for YAHAWASHI. And then, of course, he had 5 other assistant scribes with him. And, of course, they did 204 books. Now, I've said this in the past when I did lessons that we don't have all those books, okay? And the thing is, the books that we do have, and we'll touch some of that aspect a little bit later on in this lesson. The books we do have, they have been allowed to be touched, and they have allowed to be what I would say, propagated in a fashion that would lead individuals astray. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that too. Book of Jubilees, which I know the real Book of Jubilees that is spoken about in the Bible. We don't have the original books in that fashion. Where are they? We don't know just yet. Okay, only the Most High knows, and if He decides to reveal them, then so be it. They will be revealed. A good clue is a place in Vatican City that has 50 miles of catacombs that are underneath that facility. And in those catacombs, there's a lot of books that I would be ventured to say belong to the Hebrew Israelites and the original seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That encompass all of this information, including some of the information we partially have knowledge of. That's why the brothers in the Akim, they prophesy in part and they know in part. But this doesn't take away from the accuracy of the truth. Okay, that's important to understand. So we're not going to belabor the point there on that part of it. We're just going to go with what we have and pray that the Ruach HaKodesh and praise and worship the Most High, that He brings out what's necessary to get to this fulfillment of understanding, because that's where we are. And so we give our utmost respect to those who have been diligent enough to do the work and research the aspects to find out the truth in the necessary fashion that you should. Always through YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, and the guidance of the Ruach HaKodesh. So, but not to wait any further. We're going to also say salutations to all the scattered Israelites that are in all the other nations that may look like the heathen. That's my Reubenite brother Malcolm always said from Chicago GMS. They look like the heathen, but they really are Hebrew Israelites. There are many who will look like they come in an Edomite package, and they are Israelites. And then there are some that look like Israelites that come in that package, but they are not. Because the scriptures do say all that are Israel are not of Israel, or not of the promised seed. Roughly paraphrased, if you studied up enough and been listening to the channel, and also been studying with the rest of the brothers who bring you the truth, you know of this information. So we give salutations to them, and then we're going to be able to move forward. Now, the lesson for the day, Shalaki, the lesson for this evening, I keep saying today, well, a day with the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day with the Lord. Okay. The lesson for this evening, the title is, What's Not Being Said Enough About YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. What's not being said enough about YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI? And that's important. And it resonates off of what we are saying in terms of bringing out Isaiah 58:1, where we cry aloud and spare not. But when we cry aloud and spare not and bring out the warning that's in Ezekiel 33 and 36 and therefore and on, we are instructed by Yahawah BaHaSham YAHAWASHI to cry and tell the people of Israel, who are primarily speaking to the elect and the remnant, that you need to understand that what we're saying is imperative, to a clue, to offer a way of your awakening to be activated by YAHAWAH BaHaSham YAHAWASHI. The portion and way and reason why my Akim brothers are bringing out myriads and a multitude of scriptures from the Bible in accurate format with the right breakdowns, only the ones doing that part are scaring the crap out of you by telling you about prophecies that are enacting at this time and happening. They're not doing it just to scare you. They're telling you this because they have to bring out the warning. This is part of the predestinated obligation and job requirement that they have been fulfilling, because they've been chosen to do this. before the foundation of the world. Their spirit has been chosen to perform in this manner while they're here in this flesh. Now, it is very difficult to operate in this flesh and separate the process of communication. Let me say that again. It is very difficult for us in many ways to operate in these chains, in this chunk of meat, in this flesh, and disseminate the difference in communication in a spiritual capacity. That's very hard. We do not grow up and learn to walk and operate in the spirit. That's not the nature of how we grow. We have not been grown that way. You have to be groomed that way. That's a difference. The grooming process comes through, the growing process is applied, but the grooming process takes time in the scriptures. And if you're not groomed in the truth through the spirit, what ends up happening is you end up not growing in the spirit. So that becomes a big problem. How do you know and how can you validate a method of growing in the spirit? In other words, how can the leaders of the truth and accuracy of those who are teaching you the truth in the scriptures feed you the right food, the nutrients in the scriptures, in the Most High, YAHAWASHI's word of truth, in a fashion that will build the ability for you to be groomed in the spirit so that you can operate in that manner? Okay, let's use an example. Okay, one of the things that we want to understand about how to teach and grow someone in the spirit to operate with the spirit as they're in this flesh is to have a kin to understanding how that works already in us that's been created. I'll say that again. How you can learn to operate in the spirit that brings you the ability to address things in the spirit in this flesh body, you have to go off a kinship that is relational to how the Most High created you. Okay, case in point, you don't tell your heart to beat. You don't tell your lungs to breathe. You don't tell your brain to think. You don't tell your eyes to see. So, because you don't do that, what you're dealing with is a fact that you are involuntarily operating in a spiritual capacity. Okay? So when you're operating in a spiritual capacity, all right, you will find out that operating in a spiritual capacity is the format for the way that you can be groomed and taught in a spiritual capacity. That's exactly what happens. So in order to be taught to operate in a spiritual capacity in your flesh, to get practiced in that, to get trained in that, you have to understand how it applies and how the Most High uses that in that way, okay? So once you understand how he uses that, this is the way that you can become knowledgeable in the way to teach someone how to operate in the spirit. So let me go back to what I was saying. Okay, yes, your vital organs in various parts of how you are created is operating on a spiritual vibration. It's a spiritual vibration that gets all those elements of your existence and your level of creation and how you operate. It gets that portion of you operating in the spirit. So you can address physical issues and things in the spirit. That's important. So that's what you have to learn how to do. All right? So in order to do that, it takes a great deal of practice, and it takes a great deal of resources that aren't necessarily available to you directly. So what ends up happening is you have to see if what you can do is research, go to those that lead you in teaching, if they are skilled in the area of helping you to learn to address issues in your life and things that you deal with, including the prophetic processes that are now rolling out, hand over fist on how to operate and address them and navigate through them in the spirit, in a spiritual capacity, on a spiritual vibration, like within the vital organs in your body that operate off that algorithm automatically, because that's how YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI set it up. Our Father set it up that way. So this is what an example of how you can get familiar with what it feels like to operate on the spiritual vibration of your communication and your dedication to being in this truth and operating in said fashion. So that's a little bit of an example. It does take a tremendous amount of faith, a tremendous amount of worship, a tremendous amount of praise, and of course a tremendous amount of prayer. And it has to be all three. And I'm going to break down and explain this in more detail and bring scriptures to support what I'm saying to you, so that you don't think that I'm just coming up or making this up, because that's not the way it is. This is definitely meat, of high level meat, protein, spiritual protein that you're not going to get from just anybody. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, like I said, what's not being said enough about Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. It is being said, but it needs to be accentuated higher and more effectively. It doesn't have to be over righteous. It doesn't have to be too deep, but it does need to be brought out. So that's important. Okay, I'm going to start this off by saying to you, because this is important, prayer. Let's talk about that for a second. All right, but I'm going to say this before we get into the three categories: prayer, praise, and worship. Okay, because we're gonna get into some deeper understanding about this here. Let's first understand, first and foremost, the Father, Yahawah, controls absolutely everything at all levels. Point blank, period. The Father controls absolutely everything at all levels. Point blank, period. He controls it. He puts those in charge that he created to perform what he controls and what he designed. Okay, I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay, now we need to overly, and when I say overly, I really mean overly. We need to overly discern, as well as overly disclaim. Let me say it. We need to overly discern and disclaim throughout all portions of our delivering of all lessons that the Father's in total control of everything. We need to discern and disclaim that. You need to disclaim in the beginning, through your praise and worship, in the middle, at the end, that all praise, all honor, all glory, all righteousness, everything goes to the Most High. He's not sharing it with anybody else. If you are partialing out any form of honor, glory, praise, or worship to anything else or anyone else, you are going to have a very serious problem with the Almighty, the Most High Yahawah. You are. I'm going to tell you this because he's already got me and chastened me about not bringing this out the way it should be brought out. So I'm just letting you know, he's in control of everything, and he wants disclaimers throughout everything we're saying and doing, through the whole portions of everything we're doing and saying. He demands disclaimer, and it's all in his scriptures and it's all in his word. You cannot deny this, and you dare not fight against it, or you will really have a problem with his judgments. So you got to be able to understand that, okay? All right, so what I wrote down was important, and this was a part of what's going to be in the description of the lesson as well. And I wrote, all that Yahawah has created worships him, right? from its origin of creation in the works it performs, including YAHAWASHI and the angels, put to task to construct and build all that Yahweh has thought into existence and created, in which his process of creation has never stopped, and in all its actions is the worshiping process. Let me repeat all that. So if you need to take this down as notes, you need to drill this in your system, somehow get it in there. But you need to understand this, because this is what Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI gave me directly from Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. You need to get this. All that Yahweh, the Father, has created, worships him from its origin of creation in the works it performs, including YAHAWASHI, who Yahweh also thought into existence and created, and the angels, put in task to construct and build all that Yahweh has taught, has thought into existence and created, in which his process of creation has never stopped, and in all its action is the worshiping process. That means everything that he has created, the sun, the moon, all the ordinances, everything that's going on, he created them. And in the creation of them, it all worships him by the function that it does. The sun does what it does, and that's a worship process. It's an action that's happening to honor and give praise and worship to Yahweh. The same for all the rest of the ordinances, which also includes us. That's why he said what? In Jeremiah 31, right? 31, that the ordinances, and we're going to read it, we're going to get the scripture and read it. Okay, why not? Let's pull it. We're here. Let's get to it. All right, let's get to Jeremiah 31, 31. All right, hold on a second here. Shalaki. All right, we're going to get it. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, Jeremiah 31. And what was it? What we had? 31, 31, was it? Shalom. All right, we're going to start it there. All right, Jeremiah chapter 31. Let's start at 35. Okay. Thus saith, get my glasses. It's shocking. All right. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. Okay, we're going to start there. Now down to 36. If those ordinances depart from me, saith Yahweh, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Now, just there, I want to stop for a second and say this. What that means is, you can see in the first, he said that the ordinances, he said, thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and the stars for a light by night. The ordinances that he giveth, those functions, those actions that they perform, is worship. Do you understand this? That is worship. What he created is worshiping him through the process of its action, which is what we are attached to. He literally told you you are attached to these ordinances in terms of your action, which you should be performing just like what he has created. I know this is tough for some people to get there, but level up and understand. What I'm telling you is very simple. The sun does a function. The function the sun does is a worship function in terms of what it does for Yahweh and to Yahweh in that way. Because the sun makes things grow. It does everything to keep things alive that he created. That is an action. It is a job that the sun does. It is a form of worship because it is an action. It's a worship and praise action. Okay? Get there. Level up. Understand, Akim. Level up. understand Aquab, understand remnant, understand elect. The others, the practitioners, religious practitioners won't get this. This is not for them. This is not at a level they can understand because the spirit don't dwell in them. I'll read it again. All right, 35. Thus saith Yahweh, thus saith the Lord. That means he's speaking. All right. Which giveth the sun for light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from me, saith Yahweh the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. 37. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that the city shall be built to the Lord from the tower of Haniel unto the gate of the corner. Now, I'm not going to go into talking about Haniel and those particular aspects that are attached to this prophetic process. What I'm trying to get you to understand is everything that the Most High has created is providing a form of praise and worship back to him. What the hell is our problem? Because we're attached to this, because if these ordinances could be taken away by anything, but it can't, because you can't defy what Yahweh has made and built, then we no longer exist as a people, but we're supposed to be also providing and giving back what the creation that he's created is doing as well. And the creation is doing what? It is praising and worshiping him. Okay? It's not praying to him. It's praising and worshiping to him. So as we become greater than some of the things he created, we have to perform all three: praise, worship, and prayer. See, as I said, prayer. Let's talk about it for a second, because that's what you're doing. Talking to the Most High. When you pray, you're performing a vehicle and level of communication. You know, some of these wacky-tackies used to say the power of prayer is greater than everything. I'm not taking anything away from prayer. Prayer is exactly what it is. But it's a vehicle, it's a form of communication. You're asking the Yahweh, you're asking the Father in the name of YAHAWASHI, you're asking the Father, you're asking the Godhead, the realm of Yahweh's kingdom, you're asking him something. You're asking him something by praying. That's that talk you're having, okay? Just because you're asking doesn't mean he's going to do it. Because YAHAWASHI tells you in his name, he will do it in his name, but it has to be in the will of the Father for whatever your purpose in life is. So that's your prayer vehicle. You can ask. Doesn't mean he's going to do it the way you ask. He may do it, and he may not. He may do it, but not do it the way you think that you need to have it done. But he'll get it done because he owns it all. So that's prayer. But worship and praise is action. The action part of worship and praise is what manifests through the prayer. You got to understand that part. Okay, this is what we're saying. Okay, you can pray, but a lot of things pray. All kinds of heathens and demons be praying about stuff. But that don't mean that they're praying to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Okay? Now, worship and praise. Demons and all kinds of weirdos be praising and trying to worship the creation that Yahweh made, which is going off. So the deal is real simple. When you pray, you're asking. But in order for it to be manifested or activated, you have to have the praise and worship. You can't be too proud to think that you just gonna pray. You gotta also praise and worship. It's all in the scriptures. It's all in the Bible. Okay? You cannot refute this. This is part of the process that you have to understand. The Most High is in control of absolutely everything. He's controlling who gets what. MOTB, jump shot, this, that, the third. He's covering it all. He's doing it all. Don't think that he's not, because he is. He's got you doing what you doing and got you not doing what you not doing. He's covering every single nook and cranny of everything. He's in control. Predestinated process. He determined the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. You will not escape anything he's doing. He has already made his determinations. If you're out on the byways, the highways, the byways, and you're doing Isaiah 58:1, and you're calling out and you're inviting those, you're bidding those to the wedding, you've been predetermined to do that. Okay, number one. Number two, all those that will and be accepted and can be accepted, he has the power to send them your way if he wants those individuals and has deemed them to be sealed. They will be sent your way. They will not bug out. They will not buck up. And they will understand your word, and they will understand your preaching, and they will go by what you say, and the Most High will take that seed and he will develop it. You can't develop it. You just do your part, which is you give out the information. You don't have any other power other than that. You translate the information, and then you do your part by continuing to be diligent in doing that. But at the same time, make sure you understand, you don't control whether somebody's going to get salvation or damnation. You don't control that. You, as I said many times, if they're violating the scriptures and law, cite the violation. Cite the scripture that speaks to the judgment for the violation. Cite the fact that YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI will enact and perform the judgment. Then you have done your reprovement. Now you can movement. That's how it works. Until you're given the ability to operate under the direct supervision and order of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI with spiritual power, you do nothing. You can't do anything. Because unless you get that spiritual power, you will be in order to enact whatever necessary judgment is to be laid out. You're not going to willy-nilly that. You're not going to get spiritual power being arrogant, being obtruse, being rude, belligerent, and being aggravated. You're not getting no spiritual power under that premise. You get it under humility. Obedience and humility. That's where he will delve out spiritual power when he decides to do it, and you will operate decently in order with that to do what he says to whomever he says do it to. Get it straight. Don't be deviating and going into some nonsense, because that's not what it's about. So you got to understand this is what's going on. Everything that Most High created, including us, is supposed to worship him. Praise and worship him through his vehicles he offered, through the understanding of the scriptures and your prayer life. You have to have all of it. You cannot have partial of it. It's not going to work like that. Okay? We read Jeremiah 31:36, but now I want to pop over to one of my favorite chapters that tells you how the Most High, the Father, is. YAHAWASHI did not come to change the Father's law, his will. He came to fulfill the Father's will and his law, and that's the only thing he's going to do. So now we're going to go to Malachi. Go to Malachi chapter 3. So join me there, because that's important that we understand what's next. Malachi chapter 3, and I like to start at the whole chapter because it's a short one. Okay, so let's read it. Malachi chapter 3. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant who ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahawah of hosts. So the Most High sending YAHAWASHI, who is that messenger, and you will delight in him because he is the spirit of prophecy, and he's going to bring you what's necessary for you to follow the rules that he's coming under his Father's jurisdiction to perform. Okay? You wacky-tacky, stop getting twisted up and getting ridiculous and thinking that YAHAWASHI changed what the Father said do. No, he did not. Stop it. Get out of there. Verse 2. But who may abide the day of his coming? See, you don't know. That's why you understand the Most High is in control of everything. He has a form of spiritual blockage on everything. It doesn't make it negative just because he hasn't revealed it to you. He's blocked a lot of stuff. Yahawashi is blocked from knowing exactly when he's coming back. Okay, that's a spiritual block from a spiritual father who is in control. He's a spiritual entity. So he has a spiritual block on that and on multitudes of people. You could tell when someone has a spiritual block on them because what ends up happening? Their process of communication and the delivery of their information goes in a circle. It's not growing, it's not grooming, it's going in a circle. It keeps going in a circle. It's not grooming, it's not growing. So there's some form of spiritual blockage that BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI has put upon whoever it is that's going in a circle. If you are not getting the revelation to grow and groom, then you have a blockage on you somewhere. You can get it removed, but it's going to take the process of praise, worship, and prayer. Diligently as you are out on the highways and byways, the same has to be applied to praise, worship, and prayer. Praise, worship, and prayer. How many times it has to be told to you? You gotta do it all. Don't be so damn austere that you can't get to that. That's where the blockage gets removed from what BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is telling me in this way. Okay, all right, I said, but who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap. So that's what's happening. See, if you're getting refined by fire, you're growing, you're being groomed for the process of understanding the Most High Yahweh controls everything, and he has already made his determinations. You just operate within that. That's why you understand at times when you get deja vu. I explained this before. Deja vu has two sides to this situation. One is, of course, the process where you say, wow, I've been there before. I recognize this situation or that individual or that occurrence. That's a type of deja vu. What does that relate to? It relates to multiple times that you may have probably been regenerated here in your spirit, because you don't know how old the spirit is. And you had performed the mission that you were acquainted with and agreed upon between the presence of the Yahweh and Yahawashi and the angels, and now your spirit's sent here to perform that mission. You go through a process, cleaned and wiped from complete understanding of that portion when you leave in that regeneration. But what ends up happening is you start getting deja vu moments that bring remembrance to you that you got to stay on the path that Yahweh set for you. That's that one side. Now let's go to the other side. The other side of the deja vu process is when you run into a situation where the Most High says unctions come upon you. He sets unctions on you through the Royal Caucadis to say, don't go down that street. Not now. Wait 20 minutes before you leave the house and then do this task. Don't deal with that person. You in this spot, you need to roll out right now. Go, don't stay. Okay, something's up, you got to get out. See, that's the other side of the deja vu process, okay? Which in turn, like I said before, all of this is predestinated. All of this is already pre-programmed for you to provide this process. So you got to understand, this is part of the refiner's fire process that you're going to be delivered through and the fuller's soap cleaning process as well, okay? 3, and he shall sit as a refiner and purify of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, and they may offer unto Yahweh an offering of righteousness. See, now, sons of Levi has a direct connotation to let you know that eventually when we roll into the new covenant, most will become priests. Most all will become priests of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. We will be sons of Yahweh, sons of God, but priests will be allocated for various individuals at that level. There will also be those who will get crowns and have rulership at a higher level. Okay, because you know there's elders that sit on the throne around the throne of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So clearly we know there's a order, a ranking order in reference to how Yahweh sets things up. So therefore, the refiner's fire process is what you'll be brought through. So Levi will be eventually a process of priesthood. I guess you would call it a priesthood reward of promotion that you get promoted to once you get to that area of the covenant. And the covenant is only for Israel and Jacob, which will become the sons of God or the sons of Yahweh. Okay, and then and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering of righteousness. So when you're offering an offering of righteousness, that's an action of worship and praise. It's not just prayer. It's worship and praise. If you're going to make an offering, you have to perform an action. That's where you show a form of worship and praise in it. Okay? Let's make sure we clear on this. Okay? 4. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto Yahweh the Lord, as in the days of old, and as in former years. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling and in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith Yahweh of hosts. That encompasses the fact that Yahweh is doing everything. He's doing all that. So if he's controlling those that are doing these things, he's also the one that put them in this process so they can be judged. Just like when it says in the book of Romans, where he created the vessels of dishonor for the day of wrath. He created the wicked for the day of evil. He created them that way. So they're going to perform the process that they go through, which is evil. Is it a form of worship? It is on the left-hand side, because they have to do the job that they were created to perform. Do you understand? That's what it is, okay? All right, here we go. 6, for I am Yahweh, I change not. Okay? Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's very important. Don't walk past this in any capacity. He said, I am the Lord, I am Yahweh, I change not. Okay? 7, even from the days of your fathers, you are gone away from my ordinances and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith Yahweh of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? See, the return unto him and not returning and going away from his ordinances is what you've done spiritually. Why, as I started out the commentary in the beginning, and as I told you, we have to be trained in the capacity to operate on the spiritual vibration of Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, to be able to show praise and worship to Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. You can't show him praise and worship unless you're operating on the spiritual vibration of the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. How else could you do praise and worship? Because anything else would be like wacky-tackies in their false belief system, and they're worshiping an entity of creation that the Most High created, trying to say that's the Most High. That doesn't work. So you got to be groomed and trained in how to operate in the spirit and not just in the carnal flesh, painted with spirituality. That don't work. I did a lesson on the difference between Israelites that are religious Israelites and Christian. You can go look it up, okay? Let me not get off track. I don't want to digress. All right. 8. Will a man rob Yahweh? Yet ye have robbed me, but ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. Tithes and offerings are a physical action you have to perform. Okay? That's the part of the praise and the worship. That's not the prayer, that's the praise and the worship. You can't just tell people to pray. Pray, brothers, pray. Yeah, you better pray, but you better praise and worship along with that pray. All right? So we don't want to look past that situation, okay? Now, after we come from Malachi, I still got a lot of precepts I'm gonna bust down on you, but I'm just right now setting up the stage of this lesson so you know what I'm talking about. The Most High Yahweh is in control of everything, all sides of everything, everything that's going on, all the bug outs, all the stuff going on over in different nations and areas of the country. Everything that you see someone do, you think that you in control. You think your organization, you think your brothers, you think your elders, you think everybody controls you. No, Most High controls everyone, and they have to operate under Him. That's what He's doing. All apostles, elders, bishops, anyone, Akim, Aqua, everyone, everything is being controlled by Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. The Father is already set that in motion. Nobody's doing anything on their own. That's why the scripture, and he says in the scripture, who can resist my will? You can't resist his will. You don't have free will. He's already made the determination of this. So stop tripping and getting into stuff that religious practitioners talk about, because you're starting to blend, and you're blending something that's becoming an abomination and rebellion. Stop doing that. Okay, all right, Shalaki. All right, we're going into, we read Malachi 3:6, and we did the chapter. Now we're going to go to Psalms 96. We're going to go, let's go 29 first, and then, no, we're going to go 96. Shalaki. Psalms, we're going to go to 96 first, okay? And then we're going to pop on down to, we'll do 99, and then I'll do 29. So Psalms, we're going to go Psalms 96 first. And I like verse 6 is what the Spirit gave me. So I mean, we could do that. But you know, I like so much in that. I mean, that whole 96, that whole chapter is just off the chain, because it resonates back to First Corinthians 16:23 through 33, and we may touch that too at some point with the rest of my precepts. But I just love it. Let's go ahead. Let's just start at the top then, okay? All right, let's start at the top. Psalms 96 and verse 1. Oh, sing unto Yahawah a new song. Sing unto Yahawah all the earth. Sing unto Yahawah, bless his name. Show forth his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people. For verse 4, for Yahawah is great and greatly to be praised. Okay? He is to be feared above all gods. Now, what do we mean by that? There's no God like him. He told you in Malachi, he's the only one. All right? So when he says lower level G in terms of gods, he's talking about anything that you try to put before him, you don't fear him. If you try to put any honor, any praise, anything before everything goes to Yahawah, you don't fear him enough. You don't fear him enough. Because if you did, you wouldn't do it. You would never give anything or anybody any more of any type of glory, honor, or praise than giving it to Yahawah. Point blank, period. In the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the lesson. He gets it all. He gets it all. If you don't do that, you don't fear him enough. All right. Greatly, for the Yahawah is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. And they say that, you know, we're supposed to be like the gods, sons of God too, you know, or whatever. Okay, so you know not to do this, right? 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahawah made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Do I have to say it again? Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give unto Yahawah, O ye kindreds of the people, give unto Yahawah glory and strength. Give unto Yahawah the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. Praise and worship is your offering that you're bringing to his courts. Do you understand? Okay? Oh, worship Yahawah in the beauty of holiness. Fear before him all the earth. You get it? You see what I'm saying? Say among the heathen that Yahweh reigneth. The world also shall be established, that is, it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. 11. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. That's all worship processes there. That's why it's saying, let the heavens worship. Let the earth worship. Let the sea roar, worship, and fullness thereof. 12. Let the field of joy and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the wood rejoice. Everything he created worships him by doing its job. What the hell is wrong with you? Do your job and worship him. Before Yahweh, for he cometh to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness, and the people with his truth. I'm telling you, you're not going to escape this. If you're not praising, worshiping, praying to him in the order that he said, he's going to touch you with his cup of wrath. You're going to be touched. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you think you are. If you're not praising and worshiping, praying, you're going to be touched in some way by this cup. Okay? You will. That's 96. I love it. Call him. Oh, Yahawah. Oh, man, I can't praise and worship you enough. For even letting me understand this, I am so thankful. I try, Father. I try, Yahawah. I try, Abba, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Rapah, Shalaki, Yahawah. I try. Keep trying for you, Father. Keep trying for you. Okay, we're going to go to 29. Psalms chapter 29. I just get so emotional, and I get so spiritually, revved up on this that I pray the Most High, praise and worship that he keep my composure to get through this the way he needs me to. Psalms 29, verse 2. Give unto Yahawah the glory due unto his name. Worship Yahawah in the beauty of holiness. Okay? All right, now I'm going to go to Psalms 99. Because it was all over me to go there, 1 through 5. Psalms chapter 99. Yahawah reigneth, let the people tremble. He sitteth between the cherubims, let the earth be moved. You see, how could you not worship him at this level? You don't have a throne. You don't have a crown. You don't have a mansion yet. You don't have any mansions at all. You don't even have a chariot, a personal chariot, or a chariot you could ride on like a bus to go anywhere. But praise and worship can get you so much more closer to the realization of that. Not just prayer. It's got to be all three in order for you to truly worship him in spirit and truth. 2, Yahawah is great in Zion. He is high above all the people. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. El Shaddai. He's terrible demon power he will do to you. You don't understand. 4, the king's strength also loveth judgment. Thou doest establish equity. Thou executest judgment and righteousness in Jacob. See, no other nations, no one else. Right? 5, exalt ye Yahawah our power, and worship at his footstool, for he is holy. See? There's over 460 something times that it's telling you or more that you're supposed to praise and worship him. Why are you missing that part of this? Everyone who's awake to this should know that. Okay? All right, we're going to break down some more precepts I got. But before I do that, before I get into the breakdown of my precepts here, because I got my notes and everything I'm doing. I wanna just share something with you that I pulled up because I was going through the Apocrypha, and I saw some things that I felt were very important to know, because Yahweh he's not dealing with these other nations the way, and these other creations that he's made, these other nations, the way he's dealing with Israel in total. He's not, okay? And he says it in the Apocrypha. And I was looking in where was I at? I was I was looking through. Let's see, where do I want? Shlaki. I was in the book of Isaiah, and I pulled a few things. I'm gonna read Isaiah chapter 44, and I'm gonna read a little bit about how who he chose and why he chose us, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about also how he's leading other nations astray. He's put spirits on them to lead them astray. Okay, he did that on purpose, and I'm gonna read some of that to you as well. Okay, because I think it's important that you know that, because a lot of people don't know that, and I'm gonna bring it out. Okay, so first Isaiah chapter 44, starting at the top. All right. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Right off the bat, he tells you that. They ain't listing no other nations in there, okay? Thus saith Yahawah, that made you and formed you from the womb, which will help you. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and you, Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry grounds. I will pour my spirit upon your seed, and my blessings upon your offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. 5. One shall say, I am Yahweh's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last. Beside me there is no other power. And who, as I shall call and shall declare it, set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people and the things that are coming and shall come. Let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told you from that time, and have declared it? O ye, even my witnesses, is there a power beside me? Yea, there is no rock. I know not any. Okay? And I could go into the point that they make graven images and all that, but we don't need that part of it at the moment. Shalaki, forgive me. Not taking anything away from Yahweh's word or adding anything to it. I'm just making my point is where he gave me to go. Now I want to go to a portion of the Apocrypha where this is a book of Jubilees. Now remember, we got to understand that a lot of the books that are put out that are called Jubilees and Jasher and stuff like that, Most High allowed the vessels of dishonor to get a hold of these books. Because remember, I told you earlier on, Ezra wrote 204 books, but then when the vessels of dishonor were allowed to get it, things were released, and then that got in the hands of both the people who should have them and the people who shouldn't, and then the twistology started. So this book of Jubilees is not the book of the original, but there's a portion that I was able to acquire from the understanding from Jubilees that's valid. And in this, you can see where the Most High puts spirits on other nations, but on Israel, he's dealing. Let me read, all right? This is on the book of Jubilees, chapter 15, okay? And I'm going to start at verse... okay, I'm going to start at verse 27. For all the angels of the presence and the angels of the sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation, and before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification, he was sanctified. Israel, that is, that's us. See, before the foundation of the world, we were sanctified. That's what it says. That they should be with him and with his holy angels, being with YAHAWASHI and holy angels, because YAHAWASHI did the creation for the Father. Okay, 28. And do you command the children of Israel and let them observe the sign of this covenant. See, just for us, it's not for the rest of the nations. Do you command the children of Israel, right? It says here, right, including all the 12, right? All right. And it says covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Israel. 30. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahweh did not cause to approach him, and he chose them not because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. 31. And he sanctified it and gathered them from amongst all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples. Okay? All right, here we go. And all are his, and over all has he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. That's the other nations. But over Israel he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler, and he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirit, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may guard them and bless them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from henceforth forever. Now notice, I'm going to go back here where it says, just a little bit back, a little further around, where it says here, and he will guard them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirit, and at the hand of all his powers. See, that means he's in control of absolutely everything when it comes to his children. And he's leading them astray, for that's what they've been predestined to be in that lot. And that's why he's done that with these nations. Okay? All right? All right, so I'm going to read a little bit further, 33. And now I announce unto you that the children of Israel will not guard true to this ordinance, and they will not circumcise their sons according to all this Torah, for in the flesh of their circumcision they will omit the circumcision of their sons, and all them sons of Baal will leave their sons uncircumcised as they were born. Okay, now that's akin to Psalms 147, 19 through 20, where it talks about he showed us his word to Jacob and Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation. Roughly paraphrased, but I'm just trying to tell you the uncircumcision process. Elder Yahshua did a very good lesson in terms of talking about what that means, because it's a deeper version of just fleshly driven ordinances. It also deals with rebellion in reference to the circumcision of the mind, the spirit, and what you're supposed to be doing in order to follow the predestinated process that the Most High brought us into. And that rebellion is because the Most High is giving you a level of understanding, and then you to raise to another level through your praise, worship, and prayer. And if you don't get to that portion, then you don't raise to the next level, and your circumcision becomes uncircumcised in many ways. Okay, and falling into line with worshiping other entities that are the creation of the Most High and not him himself. So that twists you up and messes you up really bad. Okay, let's get into my precepts, because I know I'm running pretty heavy on my time here. But like I said, hey, this ain't a channel, and these are not lessons for the faint of heart. If you can't hang, goodbye. See you. Wouldn't want to be you. But I'm saying this is for people who want a very healthy, nutrient-based spiritual meal that's going to get you to the understanding that the Most High can groom you and continue to grow you. If you can't get with this, and you just want to hear the same old circles of the same old things talking to you. Now, I know the Most High does repetitive teaching, because you always going to have new people that are awakened when he puts them a path, puts them on puts them on Shalaki, puts them path on the path near you, or as they come by you or around you. So as they come around you, that path, he puts them on the path, and then as they come around, you do your Isaiah 58:1. You cry loud and you spare not. But he's only going to put those that are going to be awakened, that are necessary to be awakened. You will all the rest of the nations that hear what you're saying, just say what you got to say to them, but just pass the judgment. Don't debate. You can't debate YAHAWASHI or Yahawah or YAHAWASHI. You can't. There's no possible way. If you're trying to do that, you're bugging yourself out. Don't do that. Okay. All right. My first verse that I want, Shalaki. My first precept that I want to go to. All right. I'm going to go with me to 1 Corinthians chapter 8. Verse 6, okay? All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 6. And it reads, but to us there is but one power, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one YAHAWASHI, one Lord, YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. So that means the Most High is in control, and he put his Son in control of the things he needed to do. Just like I said in the previous time. He thought YAHAWASHI in existence, and then the angels and everything were created, and YAHAWASHI and the angels went to work to construct all of what the Most High designed. Okay, so that proves that portion of that understanding right there. Next precept is Matthew chapter 10. We want 29 through 31, and in Matthew chapter 10, 29, 31, and it reads, are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father, Yahawah? But the very hairs on your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore ye are of more value than many sparrows. And that's true. The Most High, if he knows every hair on your head, whether you have hair or not, you had it before, and when you did have it, he knows every portion of it that you have on your head, including on your face. And not only that, your fingerprints. None of the creation that he's put in the flesh have the same fingerprints. Think about it. Nobody has the same fingerprints. And even if they get taken away, they grow back the same. See, our Father is beyond what you can imagine, man. He's way beyond what you can imagine. Just a little tidbit of information. Okay, next precept. We're going to James chapter 1, 17. All right? Every good gift, James chapter 1, verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness. I love when the brethren and the apostles look up words and say variableness, okay? Let's look it up, okay? Neither shadow of turning. What is variableness? Okay, break it down. Variable in this. If something is a variable, that means that it's in a process of saying there's a multitude of things that could be confusing about it. But there's no variableness with the Father. No gray areas. He is intentional. If it's sin, it's sin. If it's righteousness, it's righteousness. Okay? No variableness. Get it? All right. Okay, as long as you got it. Okay. All right. Shalaki, forgive me. Inside joke, right? All right, next precept, we're going to 1 John chapter 2, 15. Love not, oh, y'all love this. This is one y'all all should know. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man or woman love the world, the love of Yahawah is not in him or her. What does that mean? If you put anything before the Father, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, and you accentuate that through the entire time that you're in this flesh here, and you even try to roll it over into some kind of spiritual understanding or some kind of spiritual, advent of your lifestyle, you are going off and the Father's Spirit ain't in you. And that's exactly what Edomites do. They do just that. They throw everything else out throw everything out that the Father said do and do absolutely the opposite. So they love the world and they do not love the Father. They hate His word and they hate Him. So that's what they're doing. Okay, so anyway, that is what's going on. Next, we're going to go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. Matthew chapter 6, verse 6. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet. Okay, let me stop right there for any of y'all that want to get in the closet, because that can get kind of weird. You don't have to literally go into a closet. See, a lot of religious practitioners try to tell you to go inside the closet. I mean, when I was bugged out one time early on, we all were in that false belief system that they called that wacky tacky false belief system. I went in the closet one time and I was praying in there, but I'm trying to figure out. I'm a big dude, so I don't got much room in the closet unless you got a big closet. So that's just not. It's not what it means. Okay, going into the closet has a couple deeper connotations, okay? Meaning that you're going into a space in your mind or in yourself where the Most High can just communicate with you and no one else, okay? That's almost like praying in silence, right? Praying and worshiping in silence. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut the door. Okay, when you become in a position where you're meditating on the Father, that's the door shutting. Pray to the Father which is in secret. Talk to Him in secret, and the Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. So, in order to get a reward openly, you have to go into that format in order to do that. So, it's still performing an action. To perform the action in order to get into the process of the prayer is the praise, worship, and prayer, right? See what I'm saying? Because you're performing an action when you do that. All right. So just so that you know. All right. The next precept, I want to go back to 1 John chapter 3, and I'm going to go with verse 1. 1 John 3 and 1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God, or the sons of Yahawah. Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew Him not. I'll read that one again. That is 1 John 3:1. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew Him not. Okay? Okay. All right, I'll go on to the next precept. I'm kind of trying to roll quickly here because I got a few more to get through, and I've only got through like 7, or getting up to 7 here. This is John chapter 10, 28, 30. And I give unto you, and I give unto them eternal life, semicolon, and they shall never perish, comma, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand, period. My Father, comma, which gave them me, is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. You see? The Most High is clearly letting you know that He is the one who's controlling everything through His Son, YAHAWASHI. Okay? That was clear. Next precept is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 26. Matthew 6:26. Okay, it says, behold, the fowls of the air, they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Well, clearly, the Most High has an order and rank to His creation. So we know that He will definitely do for us much more than what He's just doing for some of the lower levels of creation. So let's make sure we understand that. Okay, all right, let's go to the next precept, and we're going to go to Romans chapter 8, verse 32. Romans chapter 8 and verse 32, right? And it reads, He that spareth not his own son, but delivereth him up for us all, how shall He not with Him also freely give us all things? So the Most High is gracious in that He will do this. He will give us all things, but you have to perform praise and worship in order to be able to have it manifest. Okay, let's not miss that. Now, while you're already in Romans 8:32, let's hit 19. It says, Romans chapter 8 verse 19, for the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. That goes back to what I was telling you about the fact that everything the Most High created is in a perpetual creation process, which He's in, and He's always creating. We just don't know what level and where at and how far out He's still creating. We know He is creation. He is life. He's going to continue to create. So the manifestation of what we're involved with is waiting for us to be brought to that level of creation, which is what's going to happen. That's how we get created, right? We get brought into the new covenant, and the laws and statutes and everything get written into our inward parts, okay? All right, we know that. That's still in Jeremiah, okay? We just went past Jeremiah already. We talked about it, okay? All right, so now the next precept I want is, let's see where I want to go, where I went before. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go with John chapter 1 and 12. So John 1 and 12, and it reads, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. Okay, so that's akin to what I just spoke about, the manifestation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. So that's akin to that from Romans. Okay, so we understand that, right? Okay, the next precept I want to go to, staying in John, I want to go to 14. YAHAWASHI saith on John chapter 14, verse 6, John 14, 6. YAHAWASHI saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. See, he's in total charge, man, total charge. Okay, and from that one, we're going to go to John 14, 23. We're going to pop down a little bit, so stay in John. And it says, Yahushua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. See that? That's John 14, 23. Yahushua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and he will come unto him and make our abode with him. Okay? All right, the next one I want to go to, and because I'm finishing up here soon, Luke chapter 12, 32. Luke 12, 32. And it says, fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Okay? That was Luke 12, 32. And then the next precept, I'm going to go over to Matthew. So go over to Matthew with me. All right, and I'm going to go to Matthew 26, 53, right? Okay, let me see something here. Matthew, and I want 26, and I want 53, and then I said, 53. 26, 53. All right, where are we at? This is red letter. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? See? So the Father's still giving it to Yahawashi. As he said, he's coming to do his Father's will. He can't do anything unless he do it through the power of the Father. The Father raised him from the dead after he was crucified for the children of Israel's sin, not the world. Stop twisting it up and tripping. Okay, it's not what's happening there. That's why thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels. He's praying here, but he's performing an action by going through the process of telling you and showing you that this is what he's going to go through. That's the praise and worship. But he could ask in prayer for that if he wanted to, but he did not do that. Remember? Okay? So let's just make sure we don't mess that up. We don't want to twist that up and make that seem like it's something that it's not. Okay? Because you know how people get, man. They, especially these wacky tackies, man. They'll get you all jacked up in the situation, right? Okay, let's get our next precept is we're going to go to John 14:13. All right, John 14:13. And it reads, "And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son." And that's also akin to John 16:23. Let's get that too. John 16:23. All right, let's get to it. That's red letter, right? All right, all right. John 16:23, right? "And in that day ye shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you." So, but you got to remember, if it's in the will of the Father for your path in life that you're performing, yes, you can ask, but that's your prayer. But the Father going to determine whether or not you should get that. Because if you pray for something that could hurt you or hurt someone, chances are you're not going to get that. You're not going to get it. Okay, so that's what, you can ask in the name of YAHAWASHI, but you got to remember, it still has to fall within the confines of the will of the Father. Okay, so make sure you understand that. Okay, the next one we're going to is John 14. John 14, verse 2. "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you." So the mansions are very important because, like I said, in order to praise and worship to get close to the manifestation of being able to get those rewards, you have to praise, worship, and pray and follow the commandments and the righteous acts to the best of your ability here. And know that the Father is in control of absolutely everything. And don't go to the point of bigging up the puppetized Esau, Edom, to the degree that he's doing stuff like bringing the MOTB and this and that and the third. The Most High is doing all that. He's just doing it through Esau. And he's doing it because he's purposed to do this through prophecy. And this has to get so freaking crazy bad, beyond, in order for the Messiah, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to come back. Make sure you get that point, because that's very important, okay? All right, the next precept is John 1:18. And it reads, "No man has seen Yahweh at any time." Okay, you might have been in his presence, but not seen him. "The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him." So if he can declare him, he's had to have seen him. You see what I'm saying? So he has, Yahweh Shai has, but no entity that we are has done that. Now, during the time that you were put into this vessel, and however many times you were regenerated, you didn't see the Father. His essence, his presence was there. Yahweh Shai was there. But if you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father, right? But at the same time, descriptions have been given. Revelation chapter 1, 13 through 16, or you can also go with Daniel chapter 7, 9, on down through 11, 12. You can get descriptions from what was said, but you see his essence. You see a theopoly, a theolopolistic view of what your mind can comprehend of what the Father and the Son would look like, including in reference to what's shown in Yahweh Shai. You've seen the Father, you've seen the Son, but at the same time, you have not physically seen the Father. Even Moses at the time did not physically see the Most High in completion. Let's make sure we understand that, all right? That's why it says, "No man has seen the Father at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him." Okay? That's very important to understand that. All right? And then we are going to go and do two more, and then we're going to wrap this up. All right? Next place I want to go is Proverbs 15:5. For those who, if you've been in this lesson this long and you know to stay true to the truth and understand, the overall understanding is, of course, as I said, what's not being said enough about Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi. All right, so don't be a fool. And on that note, Proverbs 15:5 says, "A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent." Okay, and we're going to end it on Philippians 4:20. Okay, Philippians 4:20, and it says, so just so that you know, "Now unto Yahawah," or now unto power and our Father, Yahawah, be glory forever and ever. Amen. So that's been the lesson for today. I mean, Shalaki, for this evening. I'm still in the day. I'm still running in the day point, right? And this was definitely something that was needed. The Most High put it on me fast. Sometimes he doesn't do it that fast, but he pushed this one on me really quick and fast because he's really had enough of people taking his glory in any capacity. And I'm saying any capacity. He does not like that. He's going to start showing you, even those of us in the truth, that he doesn't want anyone to get his honor and his glory. You better start reversing. You better reverse speed on this and go back and fix whereas you're doing this. And that's everyone who's in this truth, especially those that are involved in delivering accuracy of the truth. You better correct this, because he's not going to be very much more tolerant as prophecies start to roll faster and harder. Don't be bigging up Esau to the degree where you scaring up the sheep to the degree where they don't know that the Most High is the one that's controlling absolutely everything. You better start declaring it all through the lesson. Don't leave a spot where you let it believe that the wicked that he created is doing something that can't be controlled by Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Don't do that. You're making a grave mistake when you do that. You gotta let them know he's controlling everything through the portion and process of all you're saying. Do not miss this. Okay? Do not miss this. Grave judgments and results come from missing this in terms of not giving the Most High full honor for all that he is doing with everything already predetermined. Just want to really make you understand this. If he brings me more on this, I'll bring it, because it's all up to him if he decides to do this. Start looking at everything that you see happening throughout everything that's happening as, hey, look what Most High is doing now. Look what the Father's doing now. Whoa, wow, he's doing this. He's doing this now. Okay, you need to start getting into that mode, that mind frame, because he controls it all. And disclaim it and give him his credit for it. And on that note, Shalom. That's all I can say to end the lesson.